Hello YouTube, this is Andre from the Swell Dudes Fish Tanks, and I did the water change on this tank. You can see here all of the Rotala indica was in the front. I moved it in the back, and I moved the crypts forward. And also what I did is I kind of moved them all together, really closely together. So there's like half an inch to an inch between every single crypt. There's about 20, 25 different crypts in this small area. And hopefully what that'll do is the crypts will compete for light, and because of that they'll grow taller leaves. That's what I want. Hopefully that's what'll happen. I just trimmed and replanted that plant back there so that I get more stems. The usual thing you do with stem plants, same thing here. Trimmed and replanted a few of these over there, just so I keep spreading them around the tank. Rainbow fish really enjoyed it because I drained the water up to about that much and did a water change. They really like the big water changes. I fertilized, and that was 2 days ago now. I posted the video of before I did that today, because I had recorded it but I forgot to post it. I didn't end up putting the Kleinbar sword and or water wisteria in, but I'm most likely gonna do that because I would like some more texture in here. Just the more variety, the better. Variety in colors, variety in texture, like how the leaves look. I've decided that I also want to move. I've decided this, after I finished, that I want to move this big piece of moss, what I call a mound of moss, towards the back. So it's kind of elongated this way. So I'll just kind of rotate it like that and scoot it towards the back. I have some Rotala indica planted there. I'll just move it here. Another thing you'll notice is that the Rotala indica was like spread out along this entire area. I crammed it all into that small area. So I literally took like 3 to 5 stems at a time, like grabbed them in like one pinch and just jammed them in the substrate. So they are packed really tightly there. There's a lot of stems. There's probably 30 or 40 stems. I laid them out on 2 pieces of glass. Those are each that's one of them. Both of them are 4 feet long. There were a lot of stems. I didn't count them. There were at least 30. So that's really, hopefully that's not going to cause issues from uneaten food and fish poop getting in between the stems and leaves and rotting there. I'll just keep an eye on that, and we'll see what happens. So I think I finally achieved what I wanted. I kept trimming the tiger lotus, and the leaves have become smaller, and they're growing closer towards the bottom. They're growing really close towards the bottom of the tank. There's still that one pretty leaf up there, but it's not like overshadowing all the plants around it, which is great. I moved that crypt over from there, so now the 3 of that kind of crypt are really close together. I forget what kind of crypt that is. Okay, yeah. So I didn't end up trimming this plant. Because the higher it is in the tank, the more light it gets, even if it's only a small difference, a small change in height. It's a significant change in the amount of light it gets because of the inverse square law. No, the light intensity at the top of the tank is way higher than it is at the bottom of the tank. Several times higher. That's why I'm thinking I want to introduce some hardscape. Nothing major, but maybe something that gets like 6 inches or so off of the substrate, because then I can put some, I can perhaps drill some holes in the rock and uh, drill some holes in the rock and put some substrate in there, and then grow some plants in there that require some more light. That you just start them growing higher up in the tank. Maybe do that towards the back as well, or at least I'm not definitely not going to do it in the front. I'm not going to put something, right up against the glass, of course. Okay, so that was pretty quick, right? I'm kind of rushing because I have so much work. Um, I kind of procrastinated in studying for my AP tests, and now I have a lot to do. Um, you can see that my room is really changed a lot. I don't know if I actually showed this that much, but I moved this table. That thing is a shower. So that was the drain. This thing's a shower. It's 4 feet long by 48 inches by 32 inches, and that's just an amazing size because for it's just a big surface area. And what I wanted to do was have a garden there, just put soil in there, um, put like a mesh over the hole so that like the water can drain when I water it, but the soil doesn't get out. And I just grow something there, like maybe flowers, maybe vegetables, maybe I don't know, succulents. Maybe I'll have like a cactus substrate. I have a bunch of succulents and cactuses. Maybe I'll have a bog, have a bunch of carnivorous plants. But then I had the I'm so lucky that I waited with this for a while. This is the best way to do it. I'm gonna have it vertically. I'm gonna have a 4 foot long tank under it, whether it's a 40 long, a 55, a 75, a 90, something that's 4 feet long, and focus. And I'll have this be a not a waterfall, like a drip wall. I'm gonna have a water pump in the tank. It's gonna pump water up. It's gonna be a PVC pipe with holes drilled in it. I'm gonna have attached some sort of things that I can use to regulate the flow so that I get, because the pressure is gonna diminish. Say if it starts up here, the pressure is gonna diminish as it goes along the tube and water escapes. So, God, why is it not focusing? So basically, I'll have water running down in streams. Focus. Water running down in streams along the top there, and I'll have some sort of, some sort of background that I'll make, and there'll be plants growing on it. I'll have all sorts of cool mosses, sorts of cool aquarium plants growing, like emerged out of the water. Just really cool. I'll have the Syngonium podophyllum. I'll finally have a place for that because Syngonium podophyllums, they can live with their roots completely immersed in water, like this one right here in the filter. They absolutely love that. And they feed off of the nitrates. So I have like big plants like Syngonium podophyllum. Yeah, it's not podophyllums. You would say podophylla, right? I never said Syngonium podophyllum in plural form. All sorts of mosses. I have Java ferns, Anubiuses, different Ludwigias grown above water. Ultralodia. Basically, every single aquarium plant that I have, I'll try growing it above water and see if it can grow in those moist conditions. It'll be so cool. I'll just have a wall of green with like the side of a mountain with like a stream running down. It's so cool. And it's not going to look like that, obviously. I'm going to make a background. I'm going to use, whatever materials will make it cool, like silicone, expanding foam. I don't know, maybe I'll try just using sponges or, I don't know, there's a lot of different materials I can work with. And preferably something that wicks water so that I don't have to have the streams like literally every inch. Maybe I'll have them every few inches, and I need some material that wicks water and holds on to water well. Maybe I'll cover it in sphagnum moss like I did over here with this background. And yeah, over here one of the lights burned out. I gotta get a new light, but haven't been able to do that because of this, pandemic, isolation, stay at home. This plant will also be able to grow on the side, this alocasia. I also have, like, that thing that is basically always soaked, that's growing in half sphagnum moss, which I water every couple of days, so it retains moisture really well. It's basically soaking wet all the time. Yeah. So this is going to be such a cool project. The reason I had to cover it with this paper towel in the beginning is because I have the light there, and it was shining. I was like, cover it. Then I figured out I could just turn it off and left that thing there. So I have this platform here and I have this chair. I just sit in the chair. I'm just sitting in it right now, so you can see what it looks like from my perspective. This is a super comfortable chair. It's like fuzzy, soft. Yeah, and I get this elevated view. So my eyes are like at the level or above the level of the tanks when I'm sitting like this. Not like when I'm standing I'm high, but like when I'm sitting, this thing probably takes me like 2 feet off the ground, plus the chair. So it's a pretty cool platform. Got it on Craigslist. And yes, those things were starting to crawl over the tank, so I finally tied them to the ceiling using fishing line. Let me show you that. I used this, hard plastic sponges. Can you call them Brillo pads, or is that just like when they're made out of metal? I don't know. So I cut small strips of that, wrapped it around, and then wrapped the fishing line around it. Focus, come on. What's going on? So I basically did that so that the fishing line doesn't cut into the plant. There are the lines. And I have 7 stems here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would have looked better if I didn't group. So see, those two are kind of like pairs. They're grouped together. I think it would have looked better if I kind of had them more equally spaced out. At least it would have looked like more plants than it actually is. Well, no, like more plants than it looks like right now. A little, just looked like there's more plants there. Yeah. The weather outside right now is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's really stormy weather. It's been raining hard for a few hours now. And there's really powerful gusts of wind. There's high winds. There's like, I think it was, they said 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts. So pretty powerful winds. And it's 60 degrees outside. It's beautiful. It's exactly the same temperature that it is inside. Actually, it's pretty warm. It's like 62 in here right now. 62 degrees. So it's, well, yeah, I guess when it warms up outside, it warms up in here. Yeah, it's just perfect weather. When it's raining like this and it's 60, it's beautiful. Come on, stupid door. This door's broken. It's just beautiful. It's raining hard. Well, kind of. Alright, let me just make my way here. Try not to get my phone wet. Oh no. Okay, so, ow. I'm getting wet. I don't want my phone to get wet. So basically, I made this ring of rocks. The rocks look better when they're wet. Ow. Because they're like, got them from a river. Yeah, can't talk. I put a few mosses there. This is going to be a moss garden. I'm going to have a bunch of different kinds of mosses sourced locally. And, I'm just going to have pieces of driftwood. I'm going to try to make a small maybe a small house. It'll be pretty cool. It'll be like a moss garden. Here I put the thing out with sphagnum moss outside. I got sick of it being inside. It's going to do better here. Maybe I'll put some carnivorous plants in there. Yeah. I just feel like I put some potting soil there on top, and I already put some mosses there. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I love this weather. When it's cloudy and it's raining and it's 60 degrees, it's beautiful. Hey, look at that. Some species of, oh, come on, am I not going to remember the species? Pennywort. Not the scientific name, but there's some species of pennywort just growing flat. So that's pretty tall. Look at that. That's a sizable distance. Like, that's about a foot from the substrate, the top of the substrate to the lid. So that's a pretty tall stem. And like they're thin stems too. They're like a millimeter and a half. So that must be pretty rigid, pretty the turgor pressure and the cellulose for a thin stem with the a greater mass at the top. It's pretty stable actually, but once it gets to this point, it can push upward and kind of has more structural integrity and less likely to fall over. Pretty cool. Yeah, so my room is becoming better and better every single day, every single week. I gotta figure out a place to put that driftwood. Here you can get a better view of the platform with my chair on there. Trying to organize. Put my, whatever you call these, bins. Just a better way to say it, to call them. So I put them under the toads here. I actually, like, this thing isn't gonna come out. I had to lift the toads with one hand and slide them in with the other hand. They fit under there, but just to get it past the slip here, like, see, there's space under there. I had to pick up the toad, the side of the tank. This is getting cloudy again. Got to do a water change. But this gets blasted with full sun for during afternoons. This is a west-facing window, so during the afternoon, this entire, like, there's just beams of light going this way. Yeah, all of this gets direct sunlight. It's beautiful. This entire window is just like. That's why I'm thinking. I like the way this looks. Like, this is up against the wall and it's all nice and discreet. You can walk through here, but I think I might just turn it like that. Turn it 90 degrees that way so it's facing toward the window. Because then it's just going to get a massive amount of sunlight. I know it's the right thing to do for the plants, but then, it just makes the room seem like there's less space. Which, isn't really a problem, but still. I gotta move all of these plants outside. Once I get all these plants outside, it's instantly gonna be so much more space in this room and so much more possibilities. Come on. Here's my hardscape material, so let me turn the light on. Can I turn my flashlight on while I'm recording? No. I tried doing it, just... There you go. There we go. Cool. So I just learned a new skill, right? While I'm recording. This is if I hardscape the 90 gallon, this is what I'll use. There's some dragonstone in here. There's some of this driftwood. There's some different rocks. I mean, I'm not going to use like a mix of them. I'm going to choose one kind of rock and go with it just so that it's cohesive and it looks like it's, actually realistic. You wouldn't find different kinds of rocks, like completely different kinds of rocks right next to each other. Like, well, what? So, I have like several of these kind of rocks that I collected. I have different rocks that look like this. So once I settle on a kind of rock, I'm going to go with that. Most likely, though, I'm going to go with the Dragonstone. One thing that concerns me, though, is that when I broke apart this Dragonstone, like, I bought 3 huge pieces of Dragonstone. 3 huge pieces. All of these pieces and, like, another box of worth of Dragonstone. This is, like, half of all the Dragonstone I have. They all came from 3 massive pieces, which I broke apart. I got a really good deal on them. I bought 3 huge pieces for, I don't want to say how much I paid for rocks, but one thing that concerns me is when I broke them apart, I found this orangish stuff. Come on, focus. There we go. Oh, beautiful. See that reddish and orangish stuff? That looks to me like it might be heavy metals. Lead. Lead is really bad. I don't know. I gotta read about it. Maybe if this is lead, I'm gonna have to scrub it, and if this is lead, I'm not putting in my fish tank. But we'll see. Because I know it forms like the yellow veins. I don't know anything about, like, what do you call it? What's the science called? When you study rocks, what's that science called? Geology. But I think that might be lead. Just like I know that this right here is cinnabar. This is mercury. Another dangerous heavy metal. There's a small amount of cinnabar on there. Come on. It's the pinkish color. Yeah, so I gotta clean up this room. I might use this for summer tubbing. I might, the only problem is that if I fill it up with water, it might bow, and it will bow because it's pretty weak. It's pretty weak plastic. So I'm gonna have to like put some sort of braces across it. Maybe 2 or 3 braces if I'm gonna fill it up. But then anyway, the water level is limited anyway by this. So it's about that much distance off the top. So honestly, if I only fill it up to there, then it might not even bow that much. We'll see. And if I do summer tubbing, then I'm probably gonna move my Tiger Lotus out. At least one of them, because there's 2 of them. So I'm probably gonna move the smaller one out. And I'm gonna let it over the summer. It's just gonna fill this entire thing up with lilies, and it's gonna look so cool. Because Tiger Lotuses are amazing. Yeah, it's probably Tiger Lotuses, not Tiger Lodi. Nah, that sounds weird. And I'm probably gonna move guppies out there. And why am I wait? Let me turn. There we go. um, yeah, I'm probably gonna move guppies out there, unless I have a chance to get my hands on like some rice fish or something that can tolerate colder temperatures. Because if I move these out there, then most of them are gonna die. There's only going to be a few of them that can survive the conditions of outside, the change in temperatures, the parasites. This will be a cool experiment. I really want to do this. I've been wanting to do this for forever. Well, since I started the hobby, which is a few years. It's not forever. Actually, I think it's 4 years this summer. Yeah, 4 years. I think this is not bad for 4 years in the hobby, right? Of course, I kind of treat this all as one hobby, but people treat this as many different hobbies. Like, there's people that just do aquariums or people that just do things like this, you know, terrariums, or mainly do that, and plants and stuff. Focus. Hello. Yeah. I have a bunch of fish tank stuff that I don't know what to do with on the top bunk there. I gotta sort that out, empty it. Oh wow, look at that. Do you hear that? Do you hear how it's drumming on the glass? It's beautiful. Can I open this window? Oh, yes. I don't know what kind of flowers those are, but I love them. They're gonna be really pretty. Bunch of mystery snail eggs that they keep laying. Honestly, mystery snails are annoying. Once I've had them for a few years and they spawned and I got like 200 mystery snails that were all dying of hunger because they need so much food, then I got rid of them. Now I'm just annoyed. Every time they lay eggs, I'm like, ugh, I just want to get rid of all of them. Probably should get rid of all of them. Maybe I'll keep just a couple and just let them live out their life until they die. If I want them ever again, they're pretty easy to get, but just holding on to the species, just annoying. You get annoyed of them. Maybe I'll get some other snails like rabbit snails or Malaysian trumpet snails. I've never had those, or assassin snails. I can easily have a large population of assassin snails because I have so many snails, ram's horn snails. In this tank is ram's horn snail heaven. There's like hundreds of them in this tank. There are hundreds of ram's horn snails and pond snails in this tank. Less than that in this tank, but there's still a lot of snails in this tank. Still a lot. Probably the most, no, not the most, but still a lot is in this tank. They're just easier to see here, to film at least. There's a lot in the moss, but the water's cloudy and it's dark. During the afternoon, when the light's shining through here, it's like an X-ray. You can see like through the moss, and like the snails are outlined really prominent. I probably have well over 1,000 ram's horn snails and well over 500 pond snails. I'm surprised. Ramshorn snails are actually outcompeting my pond snails. I think my pond snail population is slowly decreasing. Alright, my phone's saying I have to stop the video soon. My storage is running out.